Okay, so this is probably the toughest of all of the interior recoloring, is the dash itself. So light's pretty harsh in here, can't really see, but I'm happy, really happy. It's turned out exactly the way I wanted it to. The surface is really smooth. So I'm using this plastic Care 707 product that Parasol supplied with the recoloring paints, and right now it gives it a fairly shiny look to it, but it will absorb and become more of a satin look, which is what I want. The original dashes weren't massively shiny. People put too much Armor All on them and too much silicone protectants, and then again get that sort of really greasy look to them. So I think what you want is a bit of a luster, but as I said, soft, sort of a satiny, you know, look, rather than like a full gloss or even semi-gloss. So anyway, this, yeah, the recoloring, it looks identical to the way it was, you know, 30 some odd years ago. It's amazing how much this comes back to life. I mean, this is the seats and the dash are, you know, two of the centerpiece items in the inside of the car, obviously, and I really want this to look like 100 points. So yeah, it's great. I'm going to be shooting a bunch more of the interior parts today as well. I'm on a bit of a roll, got everything set up in the garage, so I'll keep going. So here's a bunch more components. Something I wanted to show you is they're all been cleaned extensively. They've had the 600 grit sanding. They've been cleaned again. Any repairs have been done, that kind of thing. And they've had the adhesion promoter put on. Then they've been painted. These are the, you know, above the door cards, between the top, basically running along the top of the doors. And these are new units from Germany, from reproductions through VW Heritage in the UK. Super happy I got them because the old ones were beaten up. One of them was badly cracked, and anyways, I love the texture on these. I got some earlier ones from them that had more of a bubbly texture, and this is a very, very close pattern match to the stock ones. These things are super fragile, super thin, unfortunately, and they're glued on, you know, with contact cement, and anyway, it's too bad they're not as durable, but these ones will do. They're the original ones, and you know, there's a few little cracks, but I'm going to make it work. The other thing is, I got this great gun, an Atom little touch-up gun. Spent a couple $100 and got a new gun. I was using about $100 gun from Eastwood, you know, one of their typical Chinese guns. This is an Italian gun. You know, most everything's made in China anyway, but the bottom line is it's a better quality gun, and I've got this set at 29 psi, and I've got my expansion tank over here, the 30-gallon expansion tank, set at 120. So it goes 120 through the filter and the regulator, and that brings it down to about 60, and then the gun brings it down to about 30, and I don't get much of a huge pressure drop. So, or like what happens, say the guns right now, it says it's 50, right? So I hit the gun, and it's saying 24 right now. Oh, actually, sorry, I've shut everything off. So basically, it's bleeding out the remaining air. But bottom line is, I end up with I don't end up with as much of a pressure surge at the beginning. So when there's less differential pressure across the regulator, you don't end up with that sort of boom, and then it drops down. So let me just turn the air back on here and give you a proper demonstration. So my compressor's 200 psi, its regulator set at 120, so that little 50-gallon tank feeds the 30-gallon tank, and now my system runs pretty well. So there we're at 60, we're at 29, and you can hear the gun is not, it's got a tiny bit of a surge to it. So it settles down a little bit, but it's not enough to sort of pound the paint out. And you're never supposed to start the gun really in the middle of a panel anyway. You're supposed to start off the side and then come across. So that is set up so well, and I've got such a good pattern. There's my little paint patterns for my touch-up gun, so about 6-8 inches wide, and I'm able to kind of start just off the side. But if I have to start in the middle, which you sometimes have to do, it's not bad. It's not causing any trouble. So my painting of these parts is going along swimmingly. Super happy. So here's the Danfoss compressor. It's the Model BD 250GH with the 101N0290 control unit. So this thing will put out 400 watts of cooling, power, 12 volt DC input up to 30 amps required, but it'll throttle itself all the way down to like 7 or 8 amps at low. So it's a variable speed compressor depending on load demand. So this is what I'm going to use. I realize now that they offer a grommet rubber shock mount system for the grand total of $7, so I'm going to go and I've just ordered that actually, so then I can build my little platform in the engine bay and put this in there. The only trick is I'm going to have to make sure that it's got cold air. This thing can't be allowed to overheat, so I'm going to have it in a plexiglass box with fan, electric fan pushing cold air in from underneath the car to keep the compressor and the controller at sort of 35 degrees Celsius maximum temperature, ambient temperature, right? So hopefully I can keep that box under 30 degrees most of the time. So that'll be my engineering design criteria for keeping it cool. And then I got to figure out how to solder on the connectors so I can do the standard air conditioning quick connects, automotive quick connects. So I have to learn all that stuff for the R134A refrigerant that's going to go into the system. So I'm about to color this carpet. So this is the back tray with a hatch, and it's a bit scuffed here, so I'm going to sand this a little bit, and then I'll clean it, shoot it with some texture to give it because once you sand you lose the bumpiness. So I'll sand it until it's smooth. I'll do the texture coating. I'll paint this black again. Then I'll mask it off and paint the rest of this blue. And I haven't done a oh, my cats have been on this. Damn. I have to vacuum this. Anyway, my technique for carpeting, I think you've got to spray it on and then you kind of use a brush to work it into the fibers. And I think it should be easy. I've watched a video on the internet, so see YouTube giving back to me and I'll give back to others, so it all works out well. Okay, even more parts done. I'm starting to get used to this texture coating. I ended up with a finish on these parts that under the dash, lower dash, that had a bit too much texture to them, and I read on their website that you can just take 400 grit sandpaper and just sort of knock down the texture and then repaint again. So when I did this one, I got it just right, but for some reason these ones came out a little rougher, and so I was able to just sort of sand it down a little bit and get the texture I wanted. So I shot this in black because I'd had to repair some holes there, and this has been sanded and then textured and then sprayed black, and the carpet here, which was black, this is the replacement carpet I've glued on, is now midnight blue. So it's been painted in, and got this one done as well. So yeah, it's kind of what I wanted. It's coming together. So what I got here, sort of a bunch of bits and pieces of things I gotta rehabilitate. Let's start with the back, these back deck items. I've got two sets of these. Neither one of them are in great shape, but between the four of them I should make one set golden. I will pull off and re-glue on new carpet. Once it's pulled off, then I will work on rehabilitating the plastic. These things all love to break. Here they're under stress, but the plastic seems to rot pretty easily. So I've got one pair that's almost perfect, and what I'm going to do is I will go and take these things, and I will find the good ones, and I may have to cut out from a donor and literally cut out one of the good flanges and glue it onto another one. I have to go back and forth and then reinforce these on both areas, because they're it doesn't matter, even the good ones are going to be fragile, so I want to toughen them up. Get them all. I may, depending on how the plastic turns out, I may respray the plastic with new black plastic paint to make sure they're spiffy. And then these are the original, US Rabbit GTI fender flares, and they get beaten up over the years. These ones in particular have sort of, through, I don't know, some form of chemical waxing or something, have lost a lot of their texture. Plus there's extra holes that have been drilled in them here and there, and because this thing had some Zender skirts on it, and so they'd mangled these things up a little bit. I'm not even sure if this cut here is factory. I think it's not, so I may have to go and put some new pieces in there. I have a set of replacement ones, but they're for Euro cars, so they don't fit the front US spoiler. So I'm going to reuse the ones that are original. And so what I'll first do is I'll fill in all the holes with the plastic filler, and then I will go about sanding and smoothing until these things are golden from a physical perspective. And then I will texture coat them and adjust them and sand them until I get the right texture finish, and then I'll black plastic paint them, and then they should look awesome. So anyway, that's the process I'm currently going through with these things. Now this is a piece of the plastic that was between the dash and the front window. These things dissolve typically, and this is just one piece of what used to go lengthwise all the way across. Don't know if I can find one from a junkyard to replace this. It's too bad if I can't, but I may be able to find a piece of plastic trim somewhere, or vinyl trim that's got this rough shape to it. Don't know if it has to be exactly the same shape, but that I can then heat and bend to the right shape, so that it'll fit between the dash and the window and just sort of provide that nice little trim piece. So I'm gonna have to think this through, what's possible. Anyway, it's something else to worry about. Well, I've decided that I'm going to use the new units. If you look at the replacement ones that I got, they are identical on the back to the old GTI ones, and they're just unmolested. They're clean. Then the fronts, they've got this notch cut out of them because of the Zender spoilers and stuff that were put in. So I'm going to be just cutting and pasting from one of the unused rear fenders, gluing it in, and then I'll rehabilitate the front ones, which are unique to the US Rabbit, as I said, the GTI. The other thing, so I've pulled off the carpet, sort of. Glue is crash, bang, boom. Anyway, the glue is, I'm going to just use a Dremel tool with a little mini conical brush to clean the surface off. And then I can cut and glue new carpet on that. But these are going to be fine. I'll replace the switch, and it's a little beaten up, but I'll get this stuff looking nice again. Anyway, there you go. So this is my kind of a room in the house I've taken over. I'm kind of playing around with assembling the door panels and storing stuff away from my cats once it's all been painted. So carpet, the rear deck's all done. You got this piece all done. All the stuff you've seen before. This is different though. Okay, so you know I got this all finished, but this piece here, very nice individual, Mr. Burroughs from Seattle, sent this up to me as a gift of all things and said, here's an unmolested, uncut instrument cluster panel. And it was perfect except for a couple of things. There was some glue stuck here, and sort of a bit sad, but there was some, looks like crazy glue had been attached or had dripped down from here. Maybe they tried to glue on the knob and then it dripped or something, but couldn't resuscitate it, so I had to sand this side down to get rid of the glue, and then I used that SEM texture coating and I just sprayed this side with the texture coating and then sanded it until it matched, and it worked perfectly. So then it's been painted in semi-gloss, the Parasol black plastic paint, so 3 coats of that, and now it's just flawless. So it really is. It looks better than new, I think. Anyway, all these other panels are color coded and painted and stuff. This one here is now done as well, so you can see the flex paint really, that plastic Veribond works beautifully even on this type of stuff. And so this whole console here is done as well, so we're starting to make progress with all these pieces being finished, so it's awesome. Oh, and see, this is what I'm trying to do, is keep curious cats out of here, but they tend to like to be where they're not supposed to be. Not a big deal, but I've been cleaning up all the seatbelt stuff as well. This, there's some stains on this. Not sure to what degree I can resuscitate this in some areas where it's faded. Most of the seatbelts are fantastic, but this particular one, which was the driver's side belt, had a couple problems, so I am going to recolor it, see how that turns out. And this bolt and this bracket here were actually quite badly rusted. I don't know why, but the stuff got rusted, so I've just been through acid etching all this stuff, and then I'm going to get my plating system going and give it some zinc cadmium plating. This stuff looks pretty much all chrome and stainless, so I don't have to worry about that. The other side of the car was fine. Everything with the CAD plating was still rock solid, so there you go. So back to the fender flares. These things turned out, they are different. The GTI ones from the Euro ones, both front and rear. So I thought I could use the new ones on the rear, but no, this is an example of the GTI one, and it's sorry, that's the front. Yeah, so here's the rear on the GTI, and they've got both the bulge here as well as the bulge dropping back in there, and then the back piece is quite wide. The little flare at the bottom is quite wide. I've been using this SEM filler. I've been using this multi-plastic repair material. I don't have the, turns out, you know, dumb. I don't have the right applicator gun that this cartridge mounts into, so I just sawed the end off. This is just sealed up for now, but sawed the end off and just manually pushed equal amounts of material out, and then you know, mix it together. And it's nicer than the Bondo rubber repair. So the Bondo rubber repair stuff is black, and it's sort of like glue, and it's sticky like crazy. And this is the SEM material, which is gray when it's mixed. It's black and white mixed together. It's gray, which is nice. You can see if you've mixed it properly. And it's just it's got more filler in it, and it's just it goes on a little easier, and I think it'll sand easier as well. The other Bondo stuff tends to be very rubbery, and it tends to rip when you sand it rather than you know, sand away smoothly. So I hopeful that the SEM stuff will be better. I can just see in the light here, I'm going to need to fill this. There's a crease here, obviously, and I'm going to need to fill that crease in there. But everywhere I go, I'm, you know, sand fill. It's just like doing body work on the metal of the car, and you get all the excess holes and any tears or any pinholes from rocks and scrapes and scratches. You just got to go through and you just got to fill it. So I've patched. This is just the rough patch so far, where these holes have been cut here for the Zender body skirts, and I'm in the process of putting it all back together and sanding it and filling it 100,000 times until it all looks great, and then I'll hit it with the SEM texture surfacing, sand it until I like the final look, and then I'll black plastic semi-gloss paint it, and then they'll be done as well.